active pure. Okay, a special welcome to well, a special welcome to all of those of you that have joined us on this Healthy Home Showcase tonight. This is an opportunity for you to learn more about how you can clean without toxicity, and that means no aerosol cleaners, using water, imagine, for your cleaning agents. Imagine water does the same thing for our cleaning agent of our internal body. And then we say, well, we got the air we breathe. And the air we breathe is actually purified because of the hydroxyl molecules, that is the ambient moisture in the air, again, water, that is actually part of the whole equation. So in order for us to be able to breathe, you know that if there was not moisture in the air, that our sinuses, everything would dry up. Our skin would dry up. There would be no hope for us to live. So we are primarily water. So about 70–75% water, just like the earth is 70–75% water. And so we coexist here on the earth. And so as plants need water, and they need carbon dioxide, we need oxygen. They give us oxygen, we give them carbon dioxide. We are constantly having this interchange and exchange of life happening. So we have to love the journey. We have to love life. And what I mean by that is everything that we do that does not give life gives death. May I say that again? Everything that does not give life gives death. So either we are part of the solution or part of the pollution. How did it get this way? How did we get here? It has to be that we have some unawarenesses. So if we're not aware of the way things are, or what is, let's call it quaternary ammonium, an active ingredient that they use for a cleaning agent, not knowing that we are putting these quaternary ammonium, that's called toxins, into our clothing, into our body without knowing. What do you mean? Well, the laundry detergent, the baby wipes, the dryer sheets, the body washes, the shampoos, and the cleaning agents all have what is called a quaternary ammonium, Q-U-A-T-S. Now that quat is actually toxin. And when we have the laundry detergent, for example, that's washing our clothing, and it remains in the fibers of our clothing, and then we throw it in the dryer to stabilize it and it becomes static. And guess what happens? Static means that we have some more quaternary ammonium in there because we throw dryer sheets in there. You know, during COVID, did you remember when they used like baby wipes hand wipes to wipe off your so-called shopping carts? And people would use it on the steering wheel, and they would use it on their countertops. Yeah. Where does all that go? You throw it away, right? Where's away? Now it becomes a part of the environment, becomes a part of our water. And what goes around comes around. I'm saying this all for a reason, because what's left in our clothing is we wear the toxins. And our pores of our skin, this is your largest organ. This is your first line of self-defense. Your skin has pores, and they are 50 microns in size, 50, when you're just at a regular temperature. When you're perspiring, hot, sweating, or you're in the shower, it goes to 70 microns in size. Now, 70 microns in size is a larger pore. And if you're going out of the shower and you're wiping yourself off, wiping your brow with something that has quats in it, you suppose you're wiping something into your pores? Yes. Are you wiping them on your body? The answer is yes. And then to top that off, you're wiping your entire body, but then you're putting your clothes on. And ever find yourself perspiring? And then you say, well, gosh, all that's wide open, it's going into the pores. And then you're sleeping in, and you have your babies, and then the babies, I don't know if you're a grandparent or your parent or however that is, a daycare provider. You're wiping these little, babies with these baby wipes. And guess what? That's all going into their system, goes into their blood. Your heart, your kidney, your liver, your spleen, all of them have pumps, but your kidney and liver and spleen are your detoxifying organs. They're overworked and underpaid. Constant bombardment. I'm just talking about the clothes you're wearing. I'm just making one statement. And I'm going to talk about that because I know Lori and Steve are about to talk about that as well. But let's go and talk about the water you drink. The water you drink has to be delivered to the core. Have you ever seen a river that is stagnant and it has a pool? And what happens if it just pools in an area? It gets stenchy. Well, your body does the same thing. Now, if the water delivers to, let's call it, to the core of your cells, let's say your cell, nice round cell, has two layers, the outer membrane and the inner membrane. This outer membrane, water can pass through that outer membrane and gets trapped between the outer and the inner membrane. If it's not the right size, microclustered is going to be important conversation. If it's not the right size, it traps itself there and it doesn't deliver to the core. Now, water is the carrier. Your bloodstream is your river of life. And if it doesn't deliver to the core, you never have the goods delivered, nor do you have the toxins, let's call it, aborted. So your body's constantly sorting and aborting, trying to, assimilate and eliminate, eliminate. And that's the job. That's 24/7. It starts to maximize its assimilation at 7 a.m. and begins its elimination process at 7 p.m. Don't eat your meals, big meals at the end of the day, because your body's going to be on shutdown. It's cleaning the house, and it cleans house until 7 a.m. again. Little things, but make big differences. And then we say, the air you breathe. The air you breathe. We're going to talk about spring cleaning. How you can clean your mattress. Dust mites. We have dust mites. We sleep with them. And you know why? Because our skin is forever sloughing. Every minute, this is a kind of a fun little statistic, but every minute of every day, 60 million cells die off. 60 million a minute. That's a million a second. Now, it's not like Linus, dust storm, but you might say, if you could see them, maybe it would look like that. But here's the other thing. When you're looking at what's going on with the cells that are dying off, internally, we have cells that are so-called renewing themselves because they actually die off, but they are new cells being manufactured. So your body always has to have the resources available. Otherwise, you have inferior cells instead of superior cells. And that's the goal. How do I build my body up into the superior state of being versus an inferior state of being? And that's what we're talking about. So the beauty of this call is designed to show you how you can use the technology that's so simple, so simple. Here's what it is. The air you breathe, Air and Surface Pro, sanitizes the surfaces 24/7 at the same time as purifies your air that you're breathing and takes the little particles out of that air that you're breathing so that they don't have to come through your system and become a part of the invasion. I like to say, wait a minute, take the enemy out of the camp, right? You can put your hand up and say, enemy's out of my camp. I get active, pure technology in the air that I breathe. This is, Ralph Nader said something really critically important. I heard it years ago at a seminar, but he said this. Remember, if you want to be responsible for your health and well-being, you have to think of it. What is it? What's the value of it at the point of use? I mean, be responsible at the point of use. So think about the water you're drinking, he said, That's the faucet at the spigot in which it is you take it from. When it is your air that you're breathing, it's in your face, right? And your clothing, it's what you're wearing. That's the point of use. You have to think through everything like that. So with that being said, Ralph Nader, consumer advocate, said, doesn't matter if you're living on top of a mountain, you have acid rain, because you know what? We already have it in the system. But what can you do once it is that you're going to consume it and breathe it? It's in our indoor air environments that we have to like evaluate this whole conversation. So Steve and Lori, you're sitting there in your beautiful home, and we're going to hear from you about how we can take this Active Pure technology in the Air and Surface Pro and purify that air. Let's call it inactivate the pathogens and in the air and on the surfaces. And water, what can we consume? H2 fuel, what can we do to keep that fresh and, even go in my car with it and move down the road with it. And as also the laundry pure and having that technology and then living the life like every day, spring cleaned. Steve and Lori, thank you.
Well, thank you, Liddy. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Liddy. It's always a pleasure and a benefit to have you go first. And I like your statement about getting the enemy out of the camp. The first, 8 or 9 times I heard you say that, I was like, yeah, that's kind of gimmicky or markety, And it took a little while for that to absorb. What did that really mean? Get the enemy out of the camp. And of course, when you introduce this technology to me through Lori, and she's like, oh, well, Steve was a respiratory therapist. Talk to him. It sounds like it's about air. So that's kind of where we started. And so what we've learned since is trying to help people understand what is the camp, and I mean, yes, it's the house, but it's also the car. It's your place of worship. It's your business that you go to. If you go to a business, it's really anywhere you go. It's the grocery store. And so you've kind of described a little bit about getting to basically to the root cause, right? Getting water intracellular, cleaning out the things that we breathe in. I like to think as a respiratory therapist that our lungs, our nose, our oral pharynx, all of that apparatus, if you will, that's another camp. Our heart, our liver, our kidneys that get that living water in, that's another camp. And using the living water at certain pHs on our skin or on our eyes, our hair, that's another camp. So what we really want to be able to do is broaden people's minds by giving them a little tutorial on each of our our main products, if you will. And as the Healthy Home Showcase is known for, people who invite are hosts. Hosts are eligible. If their guests decide to invest in some of this technology, hosts are available to get a nice $800 AP500. And those who come on and decide to make an investment, right here, the H2 fuel bottle, that's a $299 bottle. It's got a hydrogen fuel cell at the bottom. And as you can see, probably those bubbles coming up through there. And so we're going to quadruple the amount of hydrogen in that water. And we're really going to make it much more energizing. And we're going to raise the pH. And besides tasting good, Lori, any other thoughts about that bottle? How many charges roughly do we get? Because it's got a good lithium-ion battery.
No,
From 7 to
yeah, something like that.
7 to 10, I think. You can charge it. So it really gives you an opportunity to hydrogenate water and have it mobile and take it with you.
So what we do is that we actually fill up a few jugs of We Travel of our 9.5, but then after a couple of days or even a day, it might be losing some of the hydrogen. So we pour it in the bottle to recharge it. And if we run out of water, then we usually buy a big bottle of water and charge the water that way. But we never go without our hydrogen water anymore.
Yeah. So it's one thing to understand what happens to water when you restructure it, and to understand what it does inside the body. What I like most, because I'm not a great hydrator, and as we've gone along this journey, a lot of people aren't very good at hydrating their bodies. Much greater, way greater than 50% of the population is considered to be dehydrated at some level. So the fact that I don't have a better word to describe the H2 fuel water or the living water that we have at our sink, other than it's silky. It just seems to slide down. We learned through some training, you know, from Craig Stevens, some of those that may be on the call that heard him train, and we just know that drinking it right out of the whatever the temperature is as it comes out is the best way for our body. Even though, yeah, we kind of like ice water and cool water, but it's just better. Your body doesn't have to do something to it. Doesn't have to heat it up. Doesn't have to cool it down to get it to body temperature. And that's interesting, because that's what your body will do to water when you drink water. It's all about, you know, getting it to body temperature so that it's like good for the body, that it feels good in the body. And that's the same thing for air. When you breathe in through your nose or your mouth, you're giving up moisture to that air, and you're giving heat to the air. And really, by the time it gets to your trachea, right before it goes to both your lungs, you're at body temperature and humidity, which is what your body loves. And then that's why when you go outside and it's really cold and you're breathing air that's really devoid of moisture, that you can get hoarse and raspy, you know, and uncomfortable pretty quick, because you're bringing in this really cold, really dry kind of air. So the H2 fuel bottle is one of the tools we have for creating really healthy water. The living water, I think what I'll do, we are going to do something a little different for those of you that have been on our call before. We usually will have a laundry pure out on the counter and show it to you and whatnot. And we might talk about it a little bit, but we're going to just take Lori's laptop here in a little bit, and we'll go to our laundry room, and we'll show you not only the laundry pure, but some of the things that, you know, Lori especially has incorporated so that we can do, as Liddy said, that spring cleaning. And Lori's gonna fill our minds with how passionate you can be about spring cleaning. So, you know, this is one of the brochures for the living water, just so you can see that. And, you know, there's buttons on the front of that allow us to, if you will, ratchet up the pH of water or to lower it. And so very acidic water, let's say at 2.5, you know, you can clean with that. You can, Laura, correct me if I'm wrong. She's got these little, the 5.5 would be like for your skin, your hair, your eyes. Mm-hmm. That 2.5, I think, is what you would use for like cleaning vegetables.
The super water.
The super water. Okay, so going the other way. So when people start with this, they're generally going to start at about 8.5 pH. This is that micro clustered water that Liddy was talking about. And at 8.5 pH is probably a little higher than what's coming out of your tap. And basically what this living water device is going to do, when you ratchet up and you get 8.5 water, you're getting more hydrogen into your body. It's a very small molecule. And as Liddy was saying, what's going to happen is, you know, ounce for ounce, you're going to get greater hydration into the body because that water is going intracellular. Okay. And so if you get more water intracellular, guess what has to happen? Same thing that would happen is if you took a dirty bucket and you use your hose to clean it out, you get more water going in, you're going to have more stuff, if you will, enemy getting out of the camp. It is a form of real detoxification for the body. And so that living water is pretty amazing. And then so, you know, you see how your body does at 8.5 and then you ratchet up. We've been drinking 9.5 pH water for quite a while. And as Lori said, you know, you can get 11 pH. There's actually a cartridge that you can replace in the unit and create very high pH water. Is that the direction it goes? I always worded it. I say the wrong thing. The salt container allows it to go
you put
higher.
the salt in, so it'll make it acidic for cleaning. Like, we have not made that yet, but our test is gonna be to clean some concrete outside that has turned green from algae. And that would be like a chlorine smell, but it's just made with the salt pellets. So we're still, that's still, there's a lot more that we're gonna do with that, and try some. So we don't want to use chemicals anymore. I mean, in fact, I caught myself today. I went to clean the glass tables outside, and I went to grab the bottle. I'm like, no, I'm gonna get the bucket of the hydrogen water from the laundry pure and a rag and just cleaned it off. No streaks, nothing. It's, you know what? You're using paper towels, you're throwing that away, you're using chemicals. And even though we buy chemical free, I mean, we try to buy the most green cleaning products, but still.
They're still a bit quaddy.
You don't need them. And I'll get more into that because I'm really hyped up about this.
Yeah, so that's a little bit about the water, the H2 fuel, the living water. And we'll get back to a combination of active pure and water when we get to the laundry pure. And we'll take you to our laundry room. We'll see how that works out. We didn't practice that one. So let's do this. Let's make a little bit of a shift. A lot of you have seen these before, these fresh air personals. This is a form of PPE, of personal protective equipment. We call it our electronic mask. Lori is kindly demonstrating the lanyard that comes with it, so you can wear it around your neck. And what do you do when you play pickleball? You wear it around your neck and you clip it on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's important, I think, that people understand as we go through the technology here that this does not denature anything. This doesn't take out mold. It doesn't deal with viruses and bacteria, things like that. But what does it do? What's it for? So this is using the multi-point brush ionization, and it's putting about a 20-inch radius around you where it's kind of a force field really, and causes the particulate matter in the air to get out of your breathing space, get it out of your breathing space camp, if you will, right? So when you do that, then as you go about, when I'm talking at you and moisture's coming out of my mouth and you're standing there across from me, guess what's happening? This is knocking it down. And more importantly to me, you're talking towards me. It's knocking down what you're breathing my way. So allergies, pollens, dust, things like that in the air, this is going to help with that. Okay.
Yeah.
So this technology, is part and parcel to what's in the Air and Surface Pro. And for those of you that have maybe never seen the living proof demonstration, it's very quick. And so I'll bring it over to the camera there. I'm gonna take some oil and I'm basically gonna put the oil on a coil, all right? And that coil is gonna get really hot and it's gonna, in a sense, burn the oil, create smoke, all right? So that we can show you how this multi-point brush ionization is so effective at taking the particulate matter out of the air. So I'm gonna give this a couple of drops and we'll get this sealed up. It's important to understand that when this gets sealed up, there isn't any place for the smoke to go, okay? So we're gonna turn on, yeah, that'd be great. See if we got enough cord here. And hopefully we get the angle off the light. Yeah, about right there maybe. Okay, so you'll see the smoke filling into this box. And this box is sealed airtight. So there's no place for the smoke to go, right? And there's a couple of lights in the base of it, which you can see, I think. But there's no fan or anything like that. So we're gonna give it just another minute or so, maybe 30 seconds. And I think I can see it at least on our camera. You can see there's smoke building up.
You can barely see my hand on the other side.
Smoke. Here, we'll turn it downward or upward. Nope, downward.
Okay.
All right.
All right, I think
I
that's
don't
pretty
think we can
good.
get any closer. We're out of cord. So we keep this angle down, maybe.
Right
So
there.
I'll let you go ahead and take care of that. We're going to turn off the smoke. And then when Lori hits these two buttons, it engages the multi-point brush ionization. Watch closely, because you would think a fan came on and blew that smoke out. And all it did was
no
it take it down, took it down onto the metal, the base of this, and in a sense, kind of turns it back to oil. So imagine that. Come on, plug that. Imagine that technology in the Air and Surface Pro. It's not the most technological thing, if you will. It's been around a long time, but you can see that's very effective at getting stuff out of the breathing space, right? So that technology is in here. And when you turn on the Air and Surface Pro, that's going to be on no matter what you're setting. And you're always going to get active pure molecules coming out of the top at about 1,200 feet per second. And that's always going to be coming out no matter where you put your setting. And so very briefly, this is an Air and Surface Pro Plus. What does that mean? Basically, it allows us to engage or not ozone. And we can engage a lot more. In fact, Liddy, you mentioned about bed bugs. I'm gonna let Lori tell you about what she does in our home, in our Airbnb.
Yes, so what I do is every time I change the sheets, I take all the sheets off the bed cover, the mattress cover, and I take the unit and set it on the bed and leave the room. And a lot of times I'll open up the closets or the drawers and hit it on depart room mode. And when I hit it on depart room mode, that ups the ozone and does a deep clean and gets rid of the dust mites and whatever else is going on in the bedroom. And I do the same thing after we have an Airbnb guest. I, go in their room and put the unit on the bed, strip the bed, and 2 hours later and come in and it's all nice and clean for the next guest. So yeah, I notice a big difference. I would say waking up, your eyes aren't all gooey, you're not all like phlegmy. When you get rid of those bed bugs, I think that's the bugs go in, the bugs go out.
Yeah.
Remember
Well,
that?
and to be clear, bed bugs, he's referring to dust mites.
But dust.
Yeah, some people ask, will this take care of bed bugs?
But
no, bed bugs bite you.
But no, I mean the bugs, but the dust mites, they're mites and they're little. You don't see them, but they're crawling all over.
Every bed has them, every couch, any place where people sit, as Liddy mentioned, we're sloughing off, 60 million cells a minute or an hour, whatever it was. So guess what dust mites feed on? And as our teammate Monique, the biologist, has shared with us, when those dust mites eat the human dead cells, well, then they poop about 20 times a day. And that's what's getting into a lot of people's noses at night. And in the morning, they wonder why. They've got these sort of allergy symptoms. Well, it could be from pollen or other things, but it is one way to get another enemy out of the camp.
Out of the camp.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's multi-point brush ionization. Let's talk about the really cool thing that the Air and Surface Pro does. And by the way, the Air and Surface Pro with No Plus, that's certified to not be able to produce any ozone. And so if somebody doesn't want that can be used that way. And it works great. So the ozone gives you a little faster way to remove odors and things like that. But either unit is going to accomplish the most important thing, and that's putting active pure molecules, these cleansing hydroxyls, all over your house and up into your cold air returns, where it's going to treat any mold or mildew that might be up there. And it's going to circulate and get all over the house and not just deal with the air. It's going to have a sanitizing purification effect on all the surfaces, and not just the flat surfaces like we think of. Where does air go? Everywhere. And so it's going to clean underneath, on armrests, on silverware.
What I've noticed that in the grout in the shower or in the tub area, almost every home I've had, after a while, whether it's new grout or what, after a while, you'll start to see mold. Not anymore, not with active purge, no mold ever growing anywhere. in the ground or anywhere. So that's really cool.
Yeah, so that unit will is spec to do around 2,000 square feet. It used to be spec at 3,000. And so, we kind of try to help people to understand that, you probably still do pretty good at 3,000, but the company, as this, this has only been a couple of years long. And as the company went along, they learned how to better apply active pure molecules into a space. And so imagine this in a classroom, maybe it's only a 700 square foot room, let's say, and you had 10 kids in there and one teacher. That's a certain amount of people breathing, right? If you had one unit in there, you'd probably be fine. But if you had a classroom of say 25 kids and a teacher, you have a lot greater threat. You have way more human off-gassing. And all you need is that one child who comes in, or that one person into the doctor's waiting office that's loaded with, let's just keep it simple and say the rhinovirus, the old cold virus, that everybody knows and still gets sometimes. If you can knock that threat down when that person comes in, then that's a good thing to do. So what else about the Air and Surface Pro? Well, I'll just tell you this real quickly. It weighs about 7.5 pounds and 43 watts of energy to run it 24/7. We run ours 24/7. And because we have an Airbnb in the house, we use one in our master bedroom as well as one here on the main floor. So understanding some of the technology that's in the Air and Surface Pro will help you understand what's in this. I always like to show the box because the box, it's retail. It's kind of a pretty box. The Fresh Air Mobile, okay? And what's really amazing is they've managed to put this into a little box. It weighs 7 or 8 ounces maybe. This is a miniaturization of the Air and Surface Pro technology. So you're getting all that good stuff in here and you can control it. Active pure, more or less. Ozone if you want it, more or less. Lori and I drive everywhere with these, and just in the last week, we had a conversation about how come we only have one of these in the van and not one of them in my car? And it's like, well, we take long trips in Lori's van, but hey, I'm driving around my car here around town, and so I'm gonna steal this one. It's gonna go in my car. And what's nice is you can use the the plug-in. It used to be a lighter, now it's a receptacle or something. And you can also plug it into the house. So, this is good for up to 50 square feet. So keep that in mind. Cars, trucks, RVs, boats with, enclosures, bedroom enclosures, let's say. Maybe a small masseuse, not a short masseuse, but a regular size masseuse in a small masseuse room. What do you call that? Therapy room?
Massage room.
Massage room. There you go. Okay. All right. So,
All right.
And this comes with different gadgets for the back. So you can have a stand, you can hang it on the wall and have it removed. So that's pretty cool. Before we get too much further, I'll give you real quick on the pet refresh so that you know about that, because lots of dog and cat lovers out there. Well, what's the pet refresh for? Really for small spaces. It looks like this. You can, if the light's kind of bright, but anyway, you just plug it in, okay, in a socket and turn it on. Where are you going to plug it in at? Wherever your pet's sleeps,
bed,
the doggy
yeah.
bed, where they eat, where they do the other things.
Or if they like the couch and they're by the couch all the time, on the couch, you plug it in over by the couch.
Yeah, so this is going to put out active pure molecules, all right? So it's going to get to the root cause of the odor. And it's not going to cover a big room by any means. Well, if your pet sleeps on a pillow or whatever in a bigger room, just make sure to get this plugged in near the pet, okay? Even if you have an Air and Surface Pro running in your house, you might want one of these in your laundry room, or maybe
by the cat litter box,
or maybe one in every socket if you have a teenager in their room. All right, because they will get rid of stink.
Yeah.
All right. So
Even Lori,
yeah.
may I make a comment about the pet refresh? To even put that in your bathroom, because there is studies out that are talking about the fact that if you have, shared bathrooms, that they have found 60% of the toothbrushes have fecal matter on it. Sorry, everyone, but this is science. But now that you know, you have a solution. Not a solution, you have the solution. I love it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yes,
Thank you for that.
Thanks for that. Thanks for sharing that, Liddy.
Yeah, that was precious. So before we head to the
Lori's the
oh, somebody
laundry
made a good comment, Liddy. Close the lid when you flush.
Yeah,
I have news for you. Somebody said, you know what? Sometimes that doesn't work when you're a man. So you can't, you have to either sit down. Sometimes you don't like to sit down. So there's that. Number two, some people say, well, I put the cap on top of my toothbrush so that it doesn't get any of that. I said, you know what? There's bacteria that's still on there and it has the perfect environment to grow. So you know what? Active Pure in my world is a better solution. Let that thing run and do the job.
And think about it, the toothbrush is a good example. It's wet, it's put away, maybe it's on the, the vanity top or whatever. And how many colds maybe happen per year because something is growing on that, and you go and you brush your teeth in the morning with it or whatever.
May I say, you know what, even if you're sitting down and you understand that pathogens are in the air and they remain alive on surfaces and on tissue. I don't care how you look at this thing. The bathroom is not a very sanitary environment.
Right.
I just want to say, I want to say something about the pet. Be it the pet, be it your bathroom becomes your pet refresh environment. I love that thing. So thank you.
All right.
Okay, now before we walk to the laundry room and Lori gives us a tutorial on spring cleaning, I'm going to very quickly, because this is a showcase, right? And I'm going to show you what I would say are probably the top 3 nutritional products that we have that I think are really exceptional. I'm not going to talk a lot about them. I'm just going to give you a couple ideas. So in this day and age, this Resist, for those of you that have been able to get on Dr. Troy and hear him talk about this, or hear Liddy talk about it, well, this is how it comes. Comes in little capsules. Yeah, raise your fighter T cells by 40%. Now that's a big deal in the immunity world, because your T cells, they fight and they can become whatever cell your body's looking for maintenance and repair. So that's a big deal. You can take a couple of these a day if you like. Sometimes I'll break them open, throw them in my morning shake. So it's a real easy way, and everybody needs easy, to boost your immunity. Then last 2 items that we really like.
This is mine.
So
So
ketone zone.
ketone zone. So I do ketone zone every morning. And what it does is it sharpens your brain, gives you energy, and tastes great, and helps your body burn fat. As we age, we tend to burn more sugar and less fat. And so what we want to do is as we're aging, you want to burn that fat off. And Keto Zone is the way to go.
Yeah. A little packet in the living water, and this tastes really amazing. And
It's the best.
That's a good thing.
Every day, Keto Zone.
Okay, the last item, one of my favorites, I'll let Lori model the packet. The individual packet is Revive. This is for clear thinking and energy. And it has a flavor on there. I forget what it is. It's kind of
yummy flavor.
Kind of a fruit punch or something. But in any case, I mean, some of these natural things of energy, I'll give you just a couple bullet points. If you don't know, things like B6 and B12 are amazing, for energy and health. And there's about 8,000% of B12 and about 1,200% of B6 and a lot of other good things for your body. So you don't get this Red Bull monster drink spike of energy and woohoo, and then have that crash from it. And plus, if you've ever looked at some of the ingredients in some of those drinks, you don't want to put that in your body. That's saying, I choose to take this enemy and put it in my body, and I'll deal with the consequences. This, natural, healthy, and gives you good energy and clear thinking, And when it starts to wear off, you kind of don't notice it. And that's important. So those are the 3 nutrients that we're always talking to people about. And now we're going to see how this works out and take you to the infamous laundry room. So, Lori, I'm going to follow you. And we'll see. Well, I suppose we'll be testing our Wi-Fi and everything else. Let's
right.
see. So
Welcome to my laundry.
So I'll start. Well, this is really tricky. Everything's opposite. Okay. So let me have 5 seconds.
Okay.
I was actually able to install this device. Okay. So anybody can do it. Go for it, Lori.
All right, yeah, there's just 2 little hooks here, and it attaches here to your cold water, and then it goes right into the machine here. Yeah, that's the one that goes into the machine. All right, you see that here? Okay, see this valve here?
That's a new addition.
This is a diverter valve, and you could get this from whoever
Introduce you to the.
if you're going to buy it, if you have it already, you ask the person that bought it, or if you have your own business, then you could go in your back office and purchase that. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, so she'll show you what happens when. Okay, so real quickly, we're gonna, as Lori said, that's a diverter valve. So we're going to divert the water, and instead of it going into the washing machine, it's going to go into this hose over here. So let me see if we can get you.
Lori and Steve, for clarity, the hose that does not have the diverter in, that's the one that is the cold water in. Then it goes through the machine, it comes out through the diverter or into the wash machine.
No.
So the red.
No, it comes directly out of the laundry pure.
This is coming right out of the laundry pure. This one goes into the machine. Correct.
So the diverter valve is causing the water to go into this white hose instead of into the back of the washing machine. Does that help?
Yeah, the other one goes from your cold water into the machine. That one right there, Lori, that's the cold water going from your house into the machine, goes through the machine, then out into your wash machine. Yep, there it is. That's the way it goes.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah. So what we're accomplishing is, instead of the dry hydrogen peroxide, for example, that the Air and Surface Pro puts out into the air, we're putting Active Pure into the water. Okay. And so let them see where that.
Okay.
See if we can.
See the hose. There's a hose.
Yeah. So, and then we've got a.
Okay.
Everything's kind of backwards working here.
That's fine. Now I'm going to turn this on. Okay. You got to hold on to it.
And it comes out just like your garden hose, pretty much.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
And then tell us.
All right. So
maybe we'll go back to the.
So the water, it looks just like regular water. You want to show that?
Sure.
Just looks like regular water. It's not like it has the bubbles or anything from, like the living water, the hydro. You don't really see that, but
let's go back out here. And then
I want to show something else.
Oh, okay. What do you got?
The wash machine.
Oh.
Most wash machines, if you're washing with soap, they get like a film all over, and you got to wash them out. This stays clean.
Yeah, just like the clothes.
Yes, yes. So, yes.
And so we're here. Let's go back out here. It'd be easier to, because we're probably making you guys
Dizzy.
dizzy. Yeah. So let's put this back here.
All right.
And so where all of you using this water?
All right. So we just got that diverter valve put in, and this weekend I thought, I'm going to wash the floor with that water and see how it goes. I dumped the water maybe 3 or 4 times just by washing the floor here. It was amazing. And then
what are you dumping out that's different? That's different than what it used to be when we.
Well, it's just water.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how many times you change it, because it's just your water, right? So you're not worried about wasting. And then so I cleaned all these cabinets behind us, and the cabinets, you're like, is it okay to clean the cabinets with water? Well, I'll tell you something. The cabinets look great, and I'm not using the cabinet cleaners or all these different, like, you have the wax, you have the window cleaner, you have the floor cleaner, you have, no, just water. I cleaned everything. I cleaned the glass. I cleaned the outdoor lawn furniture. I cleaned, what else did I clean? Oh, algae off the front banister. Yeah, I was just like a mad woman going through the
I had to
house.
leave the house because I knew who was next.
Yeah, even on one of our dressers upstairs in the Airbnb room, there was some sticky stuff, probably from somebody put pop on there. And I had used wax before, or furniture polish, try to get it off. It didn't come off. This water took it right off. So I think we've been sold a bunch of goods, really,
Yeah,
using all these different
a bunch
chemicals.
of good goods. I don't know if you'll be able to see this picture.
It's a,
If you're able to detect what that is, and I'm not sure how well these will come through for you, but down below is one of the 3 fan blades. You can see I clean that with the laundry pure water, and then the one back here you can't really see because it's covered with mold. And so here I was, I'd clean a blade or 2, and there's just all this. I haven't cleaned those blades in, I'll bet, 10 years. But I just thought, well, as long as I'm in here cleaning up and backing out, at least, because it was 90 degrees here today, we had to turn on our air, and so the only way to do that is take care of our units first. So I use the laundry pure water to clean the units up, and just took algae off and help clean the blades. And
yeah,
really, and the nice thing is because we live next to about 150 acres, not ours, but it's just a field. I've cleaned stuff, cleaned my car. That's the next thing we're going to do, is we're going to try cleaning my car with the laundry pure water. But each time I dump this bucket, because these 2 condensers, air conditioner compressors, they're pretty dirty. And I just threw it out in the yard because what was it? Water and organic dirt. It was the stuff that came from the environment that got on my equipment, and now it's back in the environment. So that's great. Whereas before I'd walk the edge of the field and dump my soapy car wash water or whatever, well, where does that go? Well, eventually that enemy circles back around and comes out of our water tap and in our food and things like that.
and ladies, the glass and the mirrors, no streaks.
Yeah.
None.
So we've gone on for a little bit longer. I hope the information that we provide and that Liddy's provided in this format is helpful to people. You can reach out to about anybody on here, including us, if you have questions. It's a little challenging to get to questions in the chat. And if we had a little more time, we would probably jump in there and do one.
Let me see if I could.
Well, how long does the Active Pure last in the water? Great question. I don't know that we know the answer to that. It probably is going to, because it's like a dry gas, if you will, that's getting into the water and diffusing into the water. Maybe Liddy's got an idea on this, but I would guess within a half an hour to an hour at most, it's going to be less as time goes on. Liddy, any thoughts on that?
Well, here's what we know, that hydrogen will last in an open container for like 3 hours, closed container like for 3 days. Active Pure technology, the hydroxyl molecules, hydrogen is what it's part of. And so think through that, like, logically, you got enough time to clean for it to be active.
Right.
And if it is that you're going to walk away for a couple hours, then get some new fresh water and keep on cleaning. Yeah.
Yes.
And so,
and that might be the other thing you could do too, is put some in a spray bottle. I just used a bucket and was cleaning the glass. It just got fresh water, but you could probably put it in a spray bottle and get your windows.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I think would be really great for your siding, the algae that grows on the siding. I bet you could,
Brush
do
it
it
off.
for that too.
well, Craig Craig did say that you can wash your car, and all the bugs that stick on that car and, on your grill and everything. He said it's just basically you're going to wipe it away. It's not, you don't even need anything like those degreasers and all of that.
Yeah.
And you could actually go to a show and take a mirror and put grease on it, literally like coconut oil or some kind of grease on there. And you can spray this 11.5 water and it's just like wipe away. So think through that. Shops, you think about like, various different places that, you want to have your car cleaned, detail shops. I mean, I'm just giving you some ideas about like how you can go to a restaurant and you can actually put it in a sprayer. And we have somebody that's going to a restaurant expo. They're going to a restaurant expo and they're going to actually present this water and this living water machine, like what it can do for a bar. And it can completely change up a restaurant just because of the kind of water that they get to drink.
Yeah.
So I have a little flyer and I don't know if this is possible to even see, but here's what it says. The bottom line matters. Problem, toxic air and surfaces. The solution, Air and Surface Pro. And let's see here. Let's just, Mike Jackson's calling. I better take this. And so
You can tell us
Mike.
hi. All right. Well, we don't know how long Lydia might be on that call with Mike. And you all have been kind to stay on a little longer tonight. Did you have something else?
Yeah, well, there's someone made a comment that Active Pure helps with getting rid of flies and wasps. I don't know about that. I don't know.
If there's ozone being produced, might irritate them. I don't know. But if you've experienced that, the good news about that is you've experienced that.
Yep.
And that's part of your story. So, but we've gone about an hour tonight.
Oh,
and
boy.
so thanks.
All right.
Thanks so much. Thank you, Lydia. I don't know if you can hear us or not. We really appreciate you guys staying on. And Lori, you can go ahead and take the recording.